And here we are.
Hello. I am Miriam from Keto Chow.
Yes. And you're co-founder.
And we're doing a short intro. This is Chris.
Also co-founder, present technical guy. If you're brand new to Keto Chow, welcome. We've also got Joe and Rachel from Two Crazy Ketos here. And
I just realized I'm not ready. Hold on a second.
Oh, hold on.
Just really quickly.
Miriam, wardrobe
change
change?
my jacket.
Okay. Sorry. Why are you changing?
Mr. Rogers style.
Mr.
Hold on a second.
My neighbor.
Hold on. I could take off my shoe real quick. And then let me
fix your collar. Fix your collar. Oh my gosh.
Come on. That was great.
My neighbor.
I've never watched that movie.
Oh, it's so good.
I haven't watched it either.
Oh, I do have to fix my
Tom Hanks rocked it.
Okay. Hold on. Gotta fix your.
Do you enjoy crying? Well, you're going to love this movie.
Right.
Am I ready?
Okay. I think you're ready.
Maybe.
Okay. So we are here today with Joe and Rachel from Two Crazy Ketos. We're actually on both of our channels.
We haven't seen you guys in forever.
I know.
It's been a long time. It's been like a week.
I honestly think I've seen
unpacked.
You guys more than many of our kids.
Well, and you know what? No regrets on that because, I love you guys and I want to get to see you all the time.
Tell you what, let's hang out the rest of this week. Starting.
I think we are.
Yeah.
I spent yesterday half the day putting together your BCs at the shop.
Oh, nice.
Well, and to help with packing, Joe's got a kickstart on the packing because his closet completely collapsed yesterday. So he's like, I have to go through my clothes in order to.
You're being nice. It was actually a week ago, and I've been super lazy, and everything's been just laying on the floor.
And we just living like it's fine. But he's like, I got to deal with this.
Rachel, did Joe show you what Miriam has?
Ooh.
It's a dive knife that's pink.
It's a pink dive knife.
Where did you even find that?
Oh, so it's these little clip things that you can change out. I told Joe that I've got the yellow and the teal and the blue.
If you want one.
If he wants those.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's completely not relative
Nothing to do with
anything that we're
we're
talking
doing.
about today. Do we have people in the comments? Is anybody here?
We have quite a lot of the people.
Hello, everyone.
We got Suzanne, Kim, Sarah, Sarah.
Hi,
Sarah Warren's here? What the heck?
I love you.
Hey, I know that lady.
Lots of people. So people are trying to figure out why we're doing a live stream.
Yeah, why are we doing a live stream?
Joe, do you want, or Rachel? Rachel, why don't you do it? Why don't you tell everybody why we're doing a live stream?
Because there is a brand new flavor of Keto Chow that we got to help develop, and it is butterscotch.
Nice.
Yay! Oh my gosh. I think
made
people are
by
going to
Two
lose
Crazy
their
Ketos.
mind.
Yeah.
This one was the most difficult one we've done.
Yes.
So why was it so difficult?
Because we wanted the flavor to punch you in the face.
Yeah.
Oh.
People have a connection to butterscotch. They probably grew up with a cake, a cookie, a sauce, something
guys
in
right
their life.
Lightsabers.
Yep.
Throw it away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
And we missed it. We genuinely missed this flavor. This was a go-to. My grandparents used to take us to Dairy Queen, and you could get different things dunked, and you could get it dunked in chocolate, and you could get it dunked in butterscotch. And I always went for the butterscotch.
That was the topping I always wanted on ice cream. But actually, there was something else that made us really want to make this flavor. And we actually have a video coming out in a little while about it.
Yeah.
Of what spawned making this flavor.
Joe's
I
white
said
whale.
It to Chris earlier. Yeah, my white whale. So if you want, I'll share it. Basically, people know we're huge Harry Potter fans.
Yeah.
And we go to Universal Studios a lot.
We live
and
in South Florida.
Universal Studios, they have these butterbeer stations. And I was actually researching it. They say that 50% of the people who go to Harry Potter Land in Universal Studios buy a butterbeer. Literally, 50% of the people who walk through that land.
We're not that
talk about
50%
a moneymaker
anymore.
for Universal. 50% of the people who walk through there stop and buy a butterbeer. And the line is ridiculously long. And I learned a long time ago that when they were creating that, J.K. Rowling's kept rejecting it, going, not good enough, not good enough, not good enough.
It's like us
She
making
was
this
very
flavor.
hands-on on building that land. And so when we started keto, all of a sudden we couldn't have butterbeer anymore.
Yeah.
That was one of those things that blindsided you because you forgot you loved it so much, and you're just like, do, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, you just
'Cause
would
it's like
get
pure
into
sugar.
line. You would get into line like you always did, and you're like, wait a minute.
Right.
We can't have this anymore. And then all of a sudden I got like really sad about it. So we've tried a lot of recipes that are out there that's like, oh, this is like a lookalike for keto, and it never.
And we tried making
hit
our own.
it.
If we could never get it,
It was-
just the way we wanted
And
it.
Joe was like, we need actual like a butterscotch flavor to begin with.
Right.
And so when you guys so graciously allowed us to start making coffee shop flavors.
Yeah.
We
One
were
of the
like,
coffee shop flavors I liked was butterscotch coffee
Butterscotch.
at
Starbucks.
Starbucks. So, like, when we started going, like, what if we could make, like, a wizarding drink?
right, because we can't call it butterbeer.
Wizarding drink.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, and then it just spawned into just plain old butterscotch. But we figured out how to turn it into butterbeer.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's delicious.
Nice. Okay. Now here's the question that I have. How is this different from chocolate toffee?
It's good. I mean,
There's no chocolate.
there's no chocolate. It is, I find it to be sweeter. It's very sweet. Like, prepare yourself. If you are somebody who are like, I don't like sweet things, butterscotch is not going to be for you.
Now, the thing is there's no more sucralose in it.
No.
Right? It's the same amount of sweetener. Like, we don't handle the sweetener side, you do, right? So it's got the same amount, correct?
Yep.
It just comes through as a little
Like
bit
a
sweeter.
brightness to it.
And especially when you make the butterbeer recipe that we'll have on the website and on our YouTube channel in a little while.
Now I will say, I highly, highly, highly recommend, like Mount Everest high, recommend you use butter as the source of your fat.
Okay.
Because it's
Now, why is that?
butter beer. It really helps
Butterscotch.
it's butter beer. I'm already renaming it. It's butterscotch, and I'm telling you, it completely amps it up to use butter as the fuel source. It's really, really just adds to it, like just next level. But we have used this to make our pudding recipe. We've used it in making like our different like cookies even that we've made. That we have a lot of keto chow recipes. We're slightly obsessed with keto chow ourselves personally.
Chris and Miriam saw our closet.
And there is a lot of like recipes for cookies, muffins, even like our chocolate cream pie. You swap out chocolate keto chow for this butterscotch, and hello, you gonna make some friends.
Laura wants to know if you've tried making that pistachio bar recipe with the butterscotch.
Oh,
Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
that
Not
specifically.
yet. So, because we'll have to probably try to swap out the nut because pistachios have such a bold flavor.
Yeah.
By the way, Amanda knocked it out of the park with that recipe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She is like a pro with pistachio.
And
Is she
of
the
course,
pistachio pro?
I don't know if I can make it anymore because like we had 3 sets of it in the fridge, and every time I open the fridge, I eat a pistachio bar.
Yeah.
Oh.
But we're not talking about pistachio, right? We're talking about
It's
We're
so
talking about. Okay, so a couple of people wanted to know if there's going to be butterscotch at Keto Palooza, which is coming up later this week. Yes, my
That's already
understanding
packed.
is that we are going to have it there. Some people want to know if this is a limited edition or a limited availability. We manufactured a lot more of this than we normally do.
Everything is limited edition when it comes out.
Yeah, everything is limited edition when it comes out. So it's not available in the big bags. You can only buy 21 of them at a time. But we produced a lot of them. Hopefully to last.
Hopefully it'll last the week.
Well, yeah.
Because let me tell you, we love ice cream. Pistachio being one of our favorites. We actually like did a road trip recently with you guys, and we actually ate ice cream in the car because that's
the
the level
best.
of adulting we are.
Yeah.
When you turn this into an ice cream, oh my gosh, it buckles your knees. Like, it is so freaking good as an ice cream.
And it was funny because you guys had sent us a few graciously so that we can play with them before the launch. And I had the box sitting over there, and yesterday or the day before. John Paul had stopped at a house and he saw it and he's like, I'm like, I think it's limited edition. Like,
You're not
I
taking
don't
it.
have a lot of that. And he's like, but I'm your son.
Too bad. Too bad. Not today, you're not.
Yeah, well, I think we do have quite a lot of it. No promises, but it should last quite a while. And I did add the
Maybe 2 weeks.
availability bar onto the thing. I think it's going to last a lot longer than 2 weeks.
Two
In
and a
fact,
half weeks.
I think we might have more of the butterscotch than we do of like eggnog.
Oh, that's
Okay.
possible. Yeah.
It's entirely possible. So, anyway,
So order your
I
egg.
saw somebody say something about season. I wouldn't consider it seasonal, but it's
I
I
always ate
butterscotch lifesavers and stuff. That was my like Werther's and
Well,
Yeah.
I always ate, to me, butterscotch was very much a part of my summer seasons as well. Because again, that was like when we'd be off from school, and I always wanted the butterscotch related things that they would even sell out of an ice cream truck.
Right.
Like I just loved the taste of butterscotch.
Can we say the picture on this thing is
So
like out of the
pretty.
park?
So cute. Huh?
Carrie Brown.
Carrie Brown.
Very good. Like she's like amazing. And then when you look at the back, I mean,
Adorbs.
yeah.
We were able to get some, like Lily's even has some
Butterscotch
chips. So if you
Oh.
looking for like a mix-in idea, I highly recommend bacon, Lily's butterscotch chips in a creamy ice cream with this.
Okay, so that brings us to the question of the hour. I think you might have addressed this, but can you stack rank your favorite ways of making the butterscotch keto chow in order from like most favorite to it's okay?
I'll let you go.
Well, I'm a little biased, but first of all, butter. I mean, it's just like it's okay with heavy cream, but when you use it with butter, because the butter on top of butterscotch just
It's a
really
richness.
brings out that rich buttery flavor.
Yeah.
But honestly, like we make it into a butter beer, which I'm like they need to go watch that video to see how you do it.
What are you posting that, by the way?
12:30.
Okay.
Yeah, so soon.
So that then it really comes out well in the egg pudding that we make.
Yes.
The egg pudding that's based on Maria Emmerich's original recipe.
Okay.
It comes out really good in there, and especially if you add a few more drops of like butterscotch flavoring, like a Lorenz butterscotch flavoring. And it really reminds me of like the butterscotch pudding snack packs. I think in our video I actually say snack
yes.
well, but
The
it's
Hunt.
yeah, those little
Hunt
cups, right? It really reminds me of that. And then ice cream. Like,
Yeah.
ice cream's pretty much how we eat keto chow most of the time, but I think this one may be the exception now.
It's so good because it's like with the first spoonful, I was like instantly transported back to childhood. And all of the keto chow flavors that we use regularly as ice cream, I absolutely enjoy them. But there was something, and we love caramel macchiato as an ice cream. We love raspberry cheesecake as an ice cream. There's a lot of different flavors that we really enjoy. But there is really something magical about butterscotch. It's one of those things like you always think of like chocolate, strawberry, vanilla is like the Neapolitan. And I always would want to be like, and butterscotch, like
Right.
let him in there too, because for me, I would a lot of times choose butterscotch over caramel as far as if you wanted a drizzle of something, because there was just a little added sweetness and brightness to it. And that's what I really enjoyed about it. But for me, I even just like making up the fluff. It's so easy.
the
Keto
stuff that
chow
you guys make at the
fluff.
shows.
Yeah, which is just heavy cream mixed with keto chow.
And if
In
you
fact, we're
go
going
too
to-
far, like Rachel did in the video that's coming
right.
out later, it turns into butterscotch butter.
Butter. Then you talk about a happy accident. I know this sounds crazy, yo. I know this sounds crazy. But you could even put that like on top of a little bit of grilled chicken. I know this is weird, but once you've turned the fluff into butter, it's pretty freaking delicious.
It's funny because
It's
like
good.
this was the hardest flavor to keep a secret.
Yeah.
Like, you've always said like you can't tell anybody you've been working on a flavor. And this
Yeah.
was the hardest one to keep a secret. And there were quite a few times where, as we were developing it, like we would make a flavor and go like, okay, and then we were filming a vlog, and that's what was in our cup or in our ice cream container, and I would almost say, "This is," and I'm like, "Oh no, wait, no, it's like I'd have." Because this one took like a year
Yeah.
to really nail the flavor.
Because if it's not punchy enough, then it's not going to stick the landing. And I think that if you go a bridge too far, then butterscotch becomes like, now my jawline hurts from the sweetness, and I've got to rein it in.
And I would think I've got the recipe, and I bring it to Rachel. She's like, no, not good enough.
Sorry.
Well, and Neely said that Jeff tasted it blind, guessed the flavor, and said
See, that's
you guys
good.
nailed it.
That's the goal.
Yeah.
That's the goal, definitely.
The goal was to get Neely's husband. That
Yeah,
was-
absolutely.
Well,
that's always our goal. Like for
there's-
anything, we're
there's
like,
things
this
where-
is steak. Yes.
You're like, I don't know what it is. So if you can taste it and not tell you, and you can go, that's the flavor. Well, then I think you hit it when you do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then
Speaking of
people
which,
can count on it.
Neely and her kids did a blind taste test of a bunch of different flavors of keto chow. And they were stack
It was so
ranking them.
cute.
It was hilarious. I actually
So
put it up on the big TV
Yeah,
and we
the
watched
kids
it on
liked it.
Sunday.
That's fun. Can I say something?
Yeah.
So I want to tell you that I literally have the grandfather who gave us butterscotch candies, like
yeah.
the commercial people. That was my grandpa. Every time we saw them, which wasn't very often, he would give us a butterscotch candy. And so I associate that with my childhood. So this is delicious and memorable for that reason. So I know everybody's joking about it, but literally that really did happen.
And it's good to know that, we can still have these traditions with our family. That's always our great desire, is to make keto sustainable. That's what it's all about for us. It's about community, and part of community, an extension of that, is making it so that it's doable. Whether we are trying to show people how to best cook a piece of meat, or we are trying to help bring a product to their awareness, we want this to be sustainable. And so we want to have those precious memories with our own granddaughter, baking and making some delicious desserts. The holidays are coming, and we want to bring a pie to the table. We want to be eating ice cream in the summertime with Peyton, but we will not be getting our ice cream from an ice cream truck, and we will not be going to get it dipped in sugar. And so what is there for us unless we make it ourselves? And I'm so thankful that you guys have allowed us to partner with you in making this flavor and bringing it to people, with the hope that we can help to facilitate families to make these precious memories, to fuel people's lives if they are on the go and they are looking for something delicious to fuel their day, and they can't stop and get a hamburger or make themselves something, and they need something that they can take along with them. We want them to just have the best day possible and feel like they're doing something good for themselves, but they're also enjoying themselves along the way, because I don't think that it's sustainable if you're setting up to do keto but not enjoy it.
Right.
You're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy keto if you incorporate something like this into it.
It's funny, I'm seeing all the comments, and the amount of people that associate butterscotch with their childhood and how their grandparents and their parents it's wow. It's kind of amazing, because I associate it with my dad. My dad always had butterscotch lifesavers on his desk, and you always were trying to sneak them because that's the one that everybody wanted. So
Yeah.
It's interesting how many people associate it with their childhood.
That's precious.
Joe, have you made your keto chocolate pie with the butterscotch yet?
Not yet.
It's going to be good.
I want to do that. So this is a recipe that you actually created for a recipe challenge that we did a couple of years ago. Pretty simple ingredients, but it's also got this pie crust. This pie crust is the best pie crust I've ever had.
Yeah.
Keto or not. And
Chris
then
really likes that
the
pie
filling
crust.
is basically, you've got, I wonder if you could do it with butter instead of heavy cream. That'd be interesting. But you've got the
I
cream
bet it would
cheese
be
and
tasty.
mascarpone cheese.
Yeah.
But that's just a fantastic
Pie to
recipe
bring to
as
the
well.
table.
Yes,
It's
talking
really nice.
about pie. Because you were talking about that, I'm like, if I'm going to bring a pie, I'm going to bring that one.
And put some Lily's butterscotch chips on top. Oh, and wouldn't it be pretty if you did the little drizzle?
Oh my gosh, it's gonna
Some
make
chalk
such
zero
a
syrup or
beautiful
something?
display. And like my mom had come over this morning, and Caleb was not yet going to work, and so I had a fresh batch of the butterscotch pudding made, and so they both had some this morning, and they were both just like, I am searching for the eggs.
Yeah.
I am searching for like other ingredients, or thinking to myself, I'm really judging this and saying like, okay, what's wrong with it? Where is it lackluster, like as opposed to other things that I've eaten in the past? And they're like, it's just not. It's so delicious. And the fact that you can give this to your loved ones. Don't Lion King it. We always say that. Don't be like, this is keto. Just put delicious food in front of them and allow them to eat it. But the fact that, yeah, you can give dessert to your family and they don't even know that you are giving them what the recipe was like 89 grams of protein.
Oh, wow.
Like that is an insane
Yeah, I think
amount.
if you eat an entire batch of the egg pudding
Yeah.
with a package of keto chow, now, depending on the version of the keto chow that you're using, like the newer versions have less total carbs than the older versions, but it's gum acacia. So like, listen, I'm one to tell you never deduct fiber. Gum acacia is like the exception because of what it can do for you, not just in keto chow and other things. But if you ate the entire batch, which I do,
We do.
it's like 1,500 calories, like 115 grams of fat, 90 grams of protein, and it's 19 total carbs, 10 of which is coming from eggs.
Eggs, yeah.
So, like, that's like, talk about like guilt-free dessert for food.
Yeah.
And like, so you can literally eat that because you're eating eggs.
And
But
it's,
nobody knows you're eating eggs.
it's something that can also be soothing if you are, if you're like a hectic mom or dad that's like, gosh, I have a picky eater as a kid and I really want them to eat something that is going to actually give them energy, actually help them grow. This is great. It's a great opportunity for them to eat it. It's great if you are caring for somebody that maybe like can't chew. When Joe is going through so much dental work, he could not chew, and keto chow pudding was a lifeline, truly.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is this in Cronometer?
Oh, I need to
It
add
will
it
be.
today.
Yeah, it
'Cause
will be. We
it was
don't put
funny.
it in until the last second.
I was wondering if we were working in a recipe. I'm like, I wonder.
I see Cynthia's
And I was
asking
there.
if we've tried it in coffee. That's actually in our coffee right now.
Oh, wow.
It is crazy delicious. I mean,
Nice.
like as you would imagine it, if you're somebody that enjoys light and sweet coffee, it really provides such a richness to it. It's so good. Like right now, all we're drinking is black coffee with a little bit, just a spoonful of the
It's like
keto chow.
half a tablespoon or something like that. I saw
So
like
good.
Miranda said there's no way she can eat a whole batch of egg pudding. I eat that for my food for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you eat it 3 times or
One
whatever.
spoon at a time.
Yeah. Now on the Cronometer front, you could use just about any one of the other 3.0 flavors in its place because they all have almost the same.
Well, we'll get it in. We just make a point not to put it in there just in
because
case.
they're so good. Putting it up.
Yeah, they cut it up real fast for us.
So
I do
Yeah.
have some right here if you'd like to
it says
taste some.
BS.
It says BS. So nobody knows what this is. Butterscotch.
Gotta lick the lid.
Mhm,
Gotta lick the lid.
Okay.
Gotta lick the lid.
Oh,
Otherwise, it gets on your nose.
yeah.
Well, Joe's always like, it's getting away. Like you're letting that one little drop get
It's a
away.
drop.
So while
I don't
we're
want the drop
savoring
on my
this, Joe, do you want to answer the question as to why we use sucralose among other sweeteners in keto chow?
Tastes better. No, okay. So listen, everybody's different. My thing is you hear people talk. I have a saying: 90% is good enough. Now I'm not saying for the other 10% of your food go out and eat non-keto food. I'm saying you're never going to eat perfectly, and anybody tells you that they're eating perfectly and there's nothing in their diet or in their lifestyle that is bad, they're misinformed. And so you're never going to be perfect. And I feel like do the best you can. Sucralose tastes the best. It is 600 times sweeter than sugar, so you only need a little bit. For example, like we have a little dropper bottle.
Yeah.
2 little drops is equal to 2 teaspoons of sugar. It's such an infinitesimal amount. I can't
The drop is even
like
tiny.
you can't even use it powdered. People confuse sucralose with Splenda and
Yes.
don't understand. Splenda is a brand. They're not it's not a sweetener. They have a lot of different types of sweeteners because they're a brand. When Splenda became popular years ago in like the late 80s, 90s, when people started going, hey, I need like sugar free, they were taking sucralose, but it's again an infinitesimal amount that you cannot measure out, and then mixing it with maltodextrin and dextrose so that you could measure it cup for cup. Well, maltodextrin and dextrose is bad for you.
Yeah.
So there is like such a tiny amount that's why I would tell you never use a granular sucralose, because unless you're getting the pure stuff, which again you can't measure out, you need like when it's like a like 1/54th of a teaspoon is still too much of it. So you have that side, and then you hear people go, well, it's bad for your gut biome. Well, aside from the fact that so are antibiotics and pretty much anything else in our life, like we can't eliminate Wi-Fi either, even if you don't have it in your house, because it's coming from your neighbors.
Hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer will kill your gut biome. Are we eliminating that out of our
I've
lives?
stopped bathing entirely.
The one study that talks about sucralose possibly damaging your gut biome is so flawed, because they were giving those. First of all, we are not rats, and
dirty
they were
rat.
they were feeding rats sucralose. We're not rats. Those rats that they were feeding sucralose were not on a ketogenic diet. So that's strike number 2. And then strike number 3 is they were giving them such ridiculous amounts. If you figure it out, I think you guys have a calculator on your website for it.
Yes. It's
In
right
order
here.
for me to get the amount of sucralose that they were feeding those rats, I have to drink 73 keto chows a day to get that much sucralose. I'm not. They were probably
like to
feeding those
try.
rats more sucralose in a day than I consume in like 6 months.
Yeah.
So you have to look at all of those. So I think sucralose is the best sweetener, especially if you want a liquid sweetener, because it is 0 total carbs. It doesn't have a cooling effect. I mean, like erythritol, it's been great, but it's got a cooling effect, and it has carbs. Also, it messes with your stomach if you have too much of it.
Like
Yeah.
your Celsius that you discovered had erythritol. What the heck?
I know, right?
Yeah, and it's funny. It just and stevia can taste bitter for a lot of people. If you put 1 drop too much stevia, it's game over. Like, just throw it out. You can't eat it.
You know what I love about you guys, though? You still try to reach every single person with the nutrition of keto chow. So there are options. So if you're somebody that wants a stevia sweetened keto chow, that's available to you. If you want something that has no sweetener in it, there's a keto chow for you. And I'm really thankful that there's a variety that we can choose from. Like, I'm really, really thankful for that.
Yeah. Now, because somebody could make a butterscotch. It's not quite as good as the one that you made, but they could use the unsweetened vanilla core
Yeah.
and add like a Tarani's or a Da Vinci butterscotch flavor to it.
Mhm.
That will have sweetener in it.
As long
But-
as it's the sugar-free version.
But
Yeah, as long as
again,
it's sugar-free.
even most of those
Sucralose.
most of those coffee sweeteners, the 0 sugar ones, like the Tarani's and the simple whatever,
They're flavored with
most of them are
sucralose.
sweetened with sucralose.
Yeah.
Because again, I think it's the best sweetener where they don't need to use a lot, and especially when you look at weight wise.
Yeah. And I always, it's like, well, if you don't want sucralose, what do you want? And it's like, well, I want stevia. It's like, okay, well, some people can't tolerate that either.
Yeah.
Right.
You want allulose. Well, some people that causes them gut issues. So
I'm really thankful. Like I feel bad when where there's something that somebody can't have, because and I have an opportunity to enjoy it. But I will say that I am so thankful that we can enjoy some of these things and we can celebrate that because just because everybody doesn't have a yellow jacket like Miriam has right now, like I don't want Miriam not to enjoy her yellow jacket. Like I do not have a jacket that looks that gorgeous and that like bright and cheery like Miriam has, but I want her to enjoy it. And so that's our hope for those people that would be trying out the butterscotch keto chow, that it's something that they would enjoy.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you know that this tastes good?
It does taste good.
It's good.
Well, and going along with that, it's the whole thing that, you guys like coffee. I don't like coffee, but you can
Right.
still enjoy it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here's an interesting thing. Francesca said stevia is related to ragweed. It is related to ragweed. Interestingly enough, and this is actually if you go here to learn and the Keto Chow blog. Where is it? Here it is.
I don't know.
Stevia, steviol, glycosides, and ragweed. Oh
Oh
my.
my.
So the short version of it is, if you have just regular extract from stevia and you have a seasonal allergy and problems with ragweed,
Like a couple of our children
you might have issues with stevia.
and Chris.
But most of the time, they're not using that pure extract anymore, or that raw extract, I guess would be a better way to do it. They're taking the steviol glycosides.
What a word.
Yeah. And they're going through and processing them down and making a new kind of a new formulation that doesn't have any of that weird stuff. There's actually here it is. Actually a study that concluded the results from one of the methods of producing it should be considered safe for people with ragweed allergies.
Mm-hmm.
So
you're
which I thought was interesting.
more and more stevia products that don't have the bitterness to it.
You know what's weird? I was
of that.
actually in a band in high school called steviol glycosides.
Nice.
Were you
So
really?
here's the thing, though. The biggest complaint you see from people about sucralose, aside from the fact that they cite the only study that's out there, which again I think is seriously flawed, people will say, well, sucralose is an artificial sweetener, but stevia is a natural sweetener. But in my personal opinion, just my opinion, when they start doing what you were just talking about, where they're taking it and they're breaking it down and creating something new, doesn't that make that an artificial sweetener now?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
because sucralose is actually made from sugar.
Yeah.
It's just the way they process it, which now makes it artificial. Well, they're kind of doing the same thing with stevia. It's not the plant in its raw form where they've extracted by soaking in alcohol, which is what they do a lot of times.
How many angels can dance on the head of the pin? We need to
Right.
get to that, the heart of the matter.
I think the definition of artificial versus natural is the stevia. They take an organism and they take what's it called? Enzymes.
You just had an article
naturally
about it.
occurring enzymes, and that's what changes it. Whereas to make sucralose, you take sodium chloride, salt, take the sodium off, you got the chlorine, and you put that onto a sugar molecule, a sucrose molecule. And that change, which you have to do with a chemical process with test tubes and whatnot, that's an artificial process. I bet I wonder if
you know where I'm going with it. Though.
I know.
We can get so people like, I don't eat anything processed. Well, technically, if you're eating a piece of beef, you're eating something processed because that beef got processed. It was hunted, it was butchered, it was hung to dry and
wrapped
aged,
up in a plastic
wrapped up. I mean, so it's like, how technical do we want to get?
Plastic wrap
Semantics.
is in nature. That's actually, yes, it's very natural. All of the animals are already in plastic wrap. That's how they come.
Yeah, Dawn, the one who
I
was
don't-
asking.
I
the
mean,
extra
low carb
dose.
calorie. Let's say highly processed. That's what I
Yeah,
always like
highly
to say.
So-
Don't say
Yes.
processed.
So meanwhile, while you guys debate this issue,
Meanwhile,
I'm
back at
gonna
the
go
ranch.
take this and I'm gonna go make cookies with it.
I don't know.
I'll be
That's
right
what-
there to
that's
eat
what's
those
happening
cookies.
here.
I
Yes,
really want to make the
exactly.
pudding though.
Yeah,
I
let's go
actually
do that
bought
right
a
now.
bunch of extra eggs just to make the pudding. Because and for any who don't know, Joe, actually Rachel, you might even know this. What's the short version of how to make pudding with eggs and keto chow?
This is really hard. You're gonna wanna like definitely write this down, but this is a lot of ingredients. Okay. You're gonna need 10 eggs if they're large, or 12 medium ones.
Mhm.
Okay. You're gonna need a can of coconut milk. And then you're
Okay.
gonna need any flavor of keto chow. I recommend butterscotch. That's what I would use.
Now you can use like almond milk and add a little bit of cream. You need a little bit of fat, otherwise it just takes forever to thicken up.
Ah.
Maria Emmerich, she used coconut milk in her original recipe, which was using cocoa powder and sweetener. And
Yeah.
my whole
And
thing
it
is
was
I
dairy
didn't want
free too, right?
it was dairy free because for some reason people think eggs are dairy and eggs are not dairy. I don't know why you see people calling eggs dairy, but yeah, I mean her recipe though used cocoa powder and then a whole bunch of powdered erythritol. We didn't want the erythritol, which is where we're like, I wonder if I could use keto chow, which has sweetener in it, and then instead of using cocoa powder, use keto chow because it has less total carbs, and then you can get whatever flavor that is. So and then her original recipe used hard-boiled eggs, which will work,
Soft
but
scramble's
it is
better.
so much better if you use scrambled eggs.
And now we do recommend that you have a very high powered blender.
Yeah.
A blender that can make it go so fast that you see steam come off
It doesn't
of your
have
pudding.
to be a Vitamix, but it can't be the $29 blender that you get on Black Friday.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you gotta blend the crap out of it.
Yes.
Yeah, you gotta let it
really
run.
gotta blend it.
3-4 minutes. If it comes out gritty, you didn't blend it long enough.
blend the crap out of it. Like
And
that.
we tried
that
it with an immersion
that's a
blender and
quantity.
it didn't work.
Yeah, that was a huge fail.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Also,
you'll
it's not
know that you
Thanksgiving.
haven't blended the crap out of it because you're going to take the lid off and you're like, there's still crap in here because it's
Yeah.
like gritty. So you just keep blending it, no crap left, and then
And if you
it's ready to eat then.
Yeah, if you use hard-boiled eggs, you have to blend it even longer.
Right.
Yeah.
And then hold your nose for the first few hours.
Right. So use the
Yeah, because
scrambled
it has
egg.
kind of a sulfur smell if you
Sulfury
use
smell,
hard boiled.
which Maria said that a lot of times the reason you get that sulfur smell is they're using like prepackaged hard-boiled eggs, which are usually treated with vinegar. So I haven't figured out, but she said the sulfur smell a lot of times comes from you cook the eggs too long, like you
I
hard-boiled
need-
eggs them too long.
I need to eliminate the user.
And she's smarter than me when it comes to the
Because
kitchen.
I am a user. I'm the reason why they have come up with the term user error. Because I'm the user and there's going to be an error. So the scrambled eggs makes you successful most of the time, which is like
Yeah.
that's half the battle. G.I. Joe.
Go, Joe.
You're going to have a successful product. And so then put it in the refrigerator if you can let it sit, because I'm going to tell you the other side of this is
You can have it warm.
anything you're cooking with this in there, the whole house smells like a Yankee Candle. Like it's such a good smelling thing that it just makes your heart happy. So, but wait until the next day. It's going to stiffen up even more and really nice. and thick.
Randy wanted to know if the egg whites in a carton
Oh,
work for
that's a
the
good
egg
question.
pudding. No, because you need the fat from the yolks. First of all, we shouldn't be eating egg whites. Egg whites aren't really good for you anyway. There's no nutrition in egg whites. You got a bunch of empty protein and your body can't even use all of that protein. And by the way, egg whites, your body needs it to be cooked. The yolks you want uncooked, the egg whites, you actually need them cooked. But when you're making the pudding, the fat source, Maria Emmerich is so much smarter than me in the kitchen. It was her idea to turn eggs into a pudding. But I think it has something to do with emulsification and why you can turn it into a pudding. And that comes from the yolks, not the whites.
Well, and one reason why I really like doing the scrambled egg method is I only know how to cook for 20 people.
Right.
And for me, like, I only know how to cook 3 pounds of bacon at a time. I don't even know what to do with a half a package. It's just crazy.
I'm like, just eat it as a snack.
But when I first tried doing the pudding recipe using the hard boiled eggs, it's such a long time to peel the eggs, and if I can do it with scrambled eggs, then I
It's
can do
faster.
2 or 3 or 4 batches and just stick it into the fridge. And that way, when I eat the one batch, I
Of
still have some
butterscotch.
left.
Then you can have a pink one for later.
Yeah.
Right.
And when our
Well,
kids eat it,
it's
yeah.
so fast. As a matter of fact, so the video that just released on our channel like 10 minutes ago,
Okay.
as when we were waiting for the keto chow to chill to make the butter beer, Rachel, we were like, hey, we should make it into an egg pudding. It took us less than 10 minutes to get a dozen eggs or 10 eggs, scramble them, and then throw them in and have egg pudding. Like, you can't make instant pudding from a box that has sugar in 10 minutes.
I think about how many times I would come home bone tired from work as a mom. And I've got 3 little boys looking at me like, when's dinner happening? And that's when you realize, crap on a cracker, I didn't thaw anything out.
Yeah.
I know I'm not the only mom that's had this happen.
We
and
didn't
you're
have
like,
an Nova oven at the time.
we did not have an Nova oven at the time. And so it was like, what do we do? What can you do? We still gonna have moms and dads, families. You get home from work and you're like, crap on a cracker. I did not put anything out. And now I maybe don't want some cold chicken out of a can, or I just don't feel like, nuking a hot dog right now. I want something fast, but I also want something delicious. And so it's nice to know that, within 30 minutes, the fact that you could look at the kids and be like, dude, we're having pancakes right away. Like we're just gonna do scrambled eggs and use our pancake recipe to make pancakes with these guys, because that's delicious too. You don't even need waffle syrup. It's amazing.
Or chaffles.
So, oh my gosh,
There's I don't remember
the
who made it.
the stuffler batter that we make with keto chow.
Yeah.
Try this with the stuffler
But
batter.
there was another recipe, a recipe card. I don't remember who made it. It was using apple pie. It was like an apple pie microwave custard. It's on the Keto Chow website. You can use it comes out really good with the butterscotch. And so it's like 2 tablespoons of everything.
Okay.
And
I
you
can
make
do
it in
that.
the microwave in 3 minutes.
3 minutes.
But the thing about the egg pudding is if you have kids that don't like eggs, give them that.
Yeah.
Because now they're getting all the nutrition in eggs, but it doesn't taste like eggs.
That's right.
So.
Apple pie custard in a mug?
Yes,
I believe
I think
that's what
that's
it
it.
was. Yes.
We tried it like that to see, well, that'd be something that we'd reach for too, and it was delicious.
I think that's it. Is it like 2 tablespoons of cottage cheese, 2 tablespoons of heavy cream? Yep, that's it.
It's really good.
Is really good with the butterscotch. In fact, like I was making it, and Caleb come out and he's like, "This entire house smells delicious."
What did you make for me?
I know, right? When they're like, I think I'm gonna need some of this.
I'm gonna have something
I
you're
found that
making.
just by searching for custard.
The smell of butterscotch brings families together, that's for sure. Like bacon brings families together, and the smell of butterscotch, like it brings families together. This is something that you're gonna want to make a pie, make a cheesecake, make pancakes. You've got families that are like coming over for, Thanksgiving, Christmas. You got people visiting. You make them some butterscotch pancakes. Oh my gosh. Like delicious. Absolutely delicious.
Nice. Well, anything else you guys wanted to talk about? I mean,
Good.
we've just been having a grand old time.
To go have cookies with Rachel now.
Next up, peanut butter and jelly.
No.
We already made a peanut butter and jelly.
No, we did not. You did a peanut butter and you did it great, but we did not do peanut butter.
That was gross.
It's just
gross.
a bridge too far.
I still have a lot of that grape left.
It's gross.
I hoard it.
Okay, well, you guys have a good day, and for any people who are coming on to Keto Palooza, we will have butterscotch there. We're actually doing a local show at the same time. There's a gluten-free show here in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have butterscotch there as well. But yeah, I'll see you guys at Ketopalooza.
Ketopalooza.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.